tell people, get on the train right now, because Coach Paul got it coming. Because right now, the light at the end of the tunnel is not staying on the board.
I'm the incarnation where them Cardinals at, with them Cardinals on their glove and the Cardinal hat. I'm in the Cardinal sports zone, spitting Cardinal raps. Say it. C-A-R-D-S, let's go. Play a Cardinal game, get a Cardinal start. Play a Cardinal strong, leave a Cardinal mark, and if you get caught.
Welcome to the Cardinal Pulse here on July 1st, the first day of being in the AAC for the Louisville Cardinals. I am John Hancock from KentuckySports.co, here with Steve Rummage and Jeremy Wallman from the Cardinal or CardinalSportsZone.com.
Every time.
Every time. It's all right.
It's all right. We never even got to tell the Big East goodbye.
Goodbye, Big East.
See you later.
1 year from today, we'll be in the AAC, ACC, away from, just 1 year. I'll deal with it. I mean, our schedule's going to stink, but, we have a resting year after the year that we had this year, and we can still have lots of success. We have a fantastic show for you today. We have former Cardinal great Roman Oben, and then we have the man himself, the video wizard, CrumsRevenge is going to come on, and we're just going to talk about, the year that was, the year of the Cardinal. It's been a heck of a year. We still have. I feel like usually, I don't know, like last summer, it felt like it lasted forever, like constant waiting. But I feel like this summer is gonna go by really fast.
Well, we're already into July.
Yeah.
It's already July, so in July we got recruiting to kind of keep us on our toes, and then we're going to be right back into August, starting into spring practice here in just a few short weeks.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's going to be a quick summer.
Yeah,
I guess that's what happens when you're in the vortex of greatness. As Crumbs says, last summer did seem like it dragged on. This summer is just hitting again. But we've had great recruiting news every week.
Well, ending on success makes a difference too. Last year the lasting memory in your mind was the Final Four loss. So it's like, I remember going back during the summer last year, watching the Florida game, watching the Elite Eight Florida game, watching the different games, and just like excited and ready for the season to start again. And this year we kind of ended on success so late. And like you said, even in the College World Series, we're talking all the way up in almost July. So now, we're right on board, ready to get this year in the AAC ready.
Yeah, and we almost needed a break. I know a lot of arthritis starts to set in when you have so much to write about. Let's go right into it. The question for the night, and I already posted And so I think that will definitely help us in years to come, and as the guys go into the summer, as the guys go into the summer, as they have summer ball and different things like that, they'll get better, and next year, we'll definitely have some success as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think baseball is the next one that's on the rise as far as being that next sport that people really latch on to.
Yeah.
So, and baseball's right there. And I mean, this year we went to some games, and the ballpark is so family friendly. I mean, there's so much. They got like a playground there and everything. I mean, it's really something to bring your whole family to, a good price, and you can get out and watch some good baseball.
It's an amazing ballpark too. It makes you just want to come to every game. The view is good, but I mean that's been kind of like synonymous with the rest of our facilities. Even if you're at the top of Papa John's Cardinal Stadium, you've got a great view. If you're at the top of the Yum, you can see everything really well. So I mean, and that fits right in line with the rest of them.
It's the best bargain in town as well. I mean, you go in free and you get $1 hot dogs and $1 drinks. You can't, in this economy, everybody wants to find a cheap alternative to.
That's true.
Parking's free. The game's free. It literally costs you only gas money to get up there and support the team.
But not to disagree with you too much, I would say, for me, as I've seen over the years, I would say that soccer's the next one to move, because I've seen. I mean, this year we didn't have the year that we've had the years past, and that just comes with rebuilding. But the team that we have coming in next year, and it seems to be, as recruiting starts to heat up for Ken Lola. But I mean, I've seen fans.
Yeah, it's been packed.
Maybe even fans that normally. I mean, soccer is the biggest sport in the world, and so when you're going to get other Louisville fans that way.
Yeah.
As Louisville's a very diverse city, if you have soccer going on, you're gonna bring some different fans and different age fans, and that's a heck of an environment there.
Yeah.
As we build a new soccer stadium as well.
Well, that's a testament to the university. I mean, that you can look at two sports like, and actually, and I mean, I agree with you on that. I mean, I could see it easily going to soccer. You got two sports that a lot of colleges either A, don't have, or B, don't know they have. And these two sports in Louisville are rising up to be that second tier right under basketball and football now. I mean, and John's right. I mean, you've seen, thousands of people go out to those soccer games. I mean, we've literally had over thousands. Yeah.
I think it was the Elite Eight game that we had here in Louisville. Was it against UCLA?
Yeah.
Like 5,500
people.
It
was fantastic. It was a heck of a
cold, dark.
I mean, there was a crunch zone type of thing. College kids had signs out and everything.
Well, another thing too that helps that is the other athletes get on board with that. Like we had Russ Smith out here last soccer season painted up. Guys like that, they're coming out and they're supporting the other, and that just is more of a testament to Tom Jurich and the family atmosphere that these athletes really. I heard Dan McDonald on the Early Birds the other day, and he said, these athletes really do cheer for each other. Like they really, cheer hard for each other. So, that's just the atmosphere that you get at the University of Louisville.
The atmosphere, and then of course the coaches. I mean, we got quality coaches, and I mean, when I was growing up, I didn't know who the baseball coach's name was. I didn't know who the soccer, but I know who Ken Lola is, and I know who Dan McDonald. Everybody does. They're on the radio promoting themselves. Ken Lola's writing books. I mean, he's everywhere.
Yeah. Highest character guys, too.
Yeah.
Jeff Walls can be added into that,
Absolutely.
too. I didn't know.
Oh, yeah.
Never knew the women's basketball coach until Jeff Walls. Maybe the one before, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but,
that's right.
Absolutely. It's been a fantastic year. Kind of close out this segment before we get Crumbs on after the next segment. Maybe run through some recruiting. There's been on at least the football. We'll go through the football, and then maybe we could do some basketball later. But James Hearns committed on Saturday. A 2013 commit.
Yeah.
Who? I mean, we definitely had room, but you were thinking maybe some walk-ons would get some scholarships.
Yeah.
You couldn't really see where we needed.
Right.
But with Nick Dawson moving to defensive end, bringing in James Hearn. I mean, the kid's a beast.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's a Florida commit.
And this kid's got offers. I mean, his offer sheet, Bama, Auburn, LSU, you name it. I mean, and to come in this late, to get a kid like this.
Yeah. It's a Montrezl Harrell type of thing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
If I could compare it to something.
Yeah, football, you don't all the time get the same impact kids or freshmen have a harder time making an impact in football than they will basketball. Right. But to get a kid like this, you look at he may contribute. He's good enough to possibly contribute this year.
Yeah.
But not so much that as much as you got Preston Brown's going to be going out after this year. Different ones are going to be going down. And now that's just more depth that you have to add in there. And a kid like James Hearns, I mean, he is a solid. I mean, that is a solid pickup this late. I mean, that's huge to get a guy like that. And apparently he's no academic trouble as far as now. He's qualified.
He did. I mean, just to kind of warn fans, he did have some. That's why, well,
that's why the late.
That's why Florida kind of he was committed, but Florida kind of backed away because they weren't sure, if he was going to be eligible. He made himself eligible.
Yeah.
And Louisville was still in the run. They were still recruiting him, and others backed away because of it. So it kind of fell in our laps.
Yeah. And Florida actually reached right back out to him. As soon as they found out he was eligible, he said Florida, Auburn, and Louisville were the first three schools to call. And, if that's the only three, and we're talking a kid that had offers from Bama and everywhere else, but, if that's the only three, that's a testament to what's happening here right now. Charlie Strong, Auburn, Florida, and Louisville reach out, and the kid goes to Florida. Yeah. Louisville. So that's it. Yeah, Florida. That's what used to happen. Yeah. But that's a testament to what's
where our whole
happening.
team's from, so I can see why you
right now we have a kid in 2014. Most people seen on Twitter just actually before we went on the air the LSU commit, that is now decommitted, and pretty much anybody is believing that he's coming to Louisville.
Right.
If you would have told me, you talked John about 8 years ago, if you would have said kids are going to start decommitting from LSU,
and defensive
players,
right?
Defensive players are going to start decommitting from LSU to come to Louisville. I would have thought you was nuts, and that's
you'd have laughed at us.
That just happened.
It did.
So
LSU and Florida within a matter of days.
Just a few days. So and Charlie, man, he's really on a roll. 2014. Is going to end up possibly being the best class we've ever had here.
Yeah, and I think that goes to, you're not selling a bag of goods anymore.
No.
You're not selling the future. You're selling right now.
Yeah,
you're saying Louisville's doing things right now.
Yeah.
Other teams, they're selling a bag of goods because they don't really know.
Yeah.
And they may be getting a lot of commits that way, but I think we're telling kids the truth because this is what's really happening.
Yeah.
To say, we're not to tell James Heron on Saturday to say, we're not going to have success this year.
Yeah.
No, it's like, no, you are going to get a bowl
absolutely.
ring. You are going to have success this year, and there's a chance that you get to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Right. Well, to look at Charlie Strong is going into kids' houses now, and is literally saying, Florida's offered you. Go to Florida. That's fine. And if you meet us in the BCS game, we're going to kick your tail.
Yeah.
That's what that's what he's going into people's houses telling them.
Yeah.
And he has every backing. Would we beat Florida every year? I don't know. But right now the lasting impression is we kicked Florida's tail all over New Orleans.
Right.
And that's what he's going in and telling these kids, you're either with us or we're going to beat you. But like Coach Bedford said, the train's rolling.
Yeah.
You're either on or off, and like you said, that's actually happening.
Right. Well, we have a Heisman. We've had Heisman contenders before. With Michael Bush and Brom.
Yeah.
We've had, but we're talking about.
But not like this.
Right.
Teddy, we had Heisman contenders, and had Michael Bush not broke his leg, I honestly think he may have won it that year.
It would have been hard for him because he still was at Louisville.
Absolutely.
It wasn't a joke saying, because, kind of like this year, we could say, the schedule isn't in Teddy's favor. But Teddy's already proven that he can be that guy.
Yeah.
And Michael never really, comparatively to what Teddy's done. He's never had
Ragone, Brom, any of the other ones that had the Heisman hype, you kind of felt, or I'll just speak for myself. I can't speak for everybody else. But myself, I kind of thought, well, that's nice. That's nice that they got Heisman hype, and if they get invited, that's as good as it gets. But Teddy, he can win this thing.
Yeah.
He really can win this thing. And honestly, I expect him to win it because I think he's going to put up numbers that are going to be phenomenal this year. And the thing is with Louisville's schedule this year, for as weak as it is, we do have quite a few weeknight games where all eyes are going to be on Louisville. And that's where Teddy's going to get the hype. Teddy's going to be the top quarterback taken in the draft. I've heard people say, you know, well, he won't win it because of schedule. He won't win it because of schedule. Teddy can win this thing, and it's not that far fetched for him to win it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we still have tons more tons more things to talk about, tons more show. We got CrumsRevenge coming right after the break, and then we will have Roman Oben at the top of the hour. So stay with us. We are the Cardinal Pulse.
Don't step on that field. It's a game faces like mine. And if you don't plan on getting hurt, don't line up on that line. Send y'all to the crib with another L on that record. Oh, y'all going ham? I make y'all my breakfast. Go ahead, scramble that quarterback, and I turn him to pancake. Y'all front line is sugar. I wouldn't put y'all on my cornflakes. Huddle up, call a play, hike the ball, get the ball, run away, back up, look away, hold on, end zone, celebrate. Fall back, I got a point to prove. Ballin' like I got nothing to lose. Yeah, I got your number. Keep your phone on, I'ma call it so. Coach said this was my year. I told him the same thing. No.
All right, and we're back here with the Cardinal Pulse.
Yeah, and we are here with Mr. CrumsRevenge, the video wizard. How are you today, man?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Doing fantastic. Doing fantastic. We're just here. We're talking about the year that was. You know, everybody knows you for the movies that you made. So just the first question, you know, for you is, what's your favorite moment that you got on tape?
On tape. You know, to be honest, sometimes you get stuff that you don't use. So when you go through some of these videos, you run across some special moments that that you may not be able to work into the flow of a video of what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
And to me, one of my I wouldn't say his favorite because it was actually during the Kevin Ware incident. But if you listen to just the raw audio when it was silent and the crowd was silent, you hear Rick Pitino totally puppeteering everyone on the team. He said the team kind of healed themselves, but you could see that he was behind every step of the way. He was yelling at Montrez to pick Shane off the ground. He was yelling, you know, for the team to get over here and listen to Kevin Ware. He's trying to talk to you. And if you just listen to him, you can just see Pitino trying to be on the perimeter, but he was very much in the front of getting these guys together to rally for the rest of that game. And it was pretty amazing.
Yeah, I agree with you. That was one of my favorite moments. Just because it didn't. I mean, it looked like it phased him, but at the same time, he just kept his. It was strange. It was. I mean, because I couldn't do that. I couldn't rally a team after that. You know, seeing all that and the emotional reaction, not just seeing it, but their reaction to it was, I think, different than maybe other teams would have reacted.
Yeah, and I think we got really lucky, to be honest, that happened with like 3 minutes left in the half instead of 14 minutes left in the half.
Yeah.
Because I think the wheels could have come off before we could get to that halftime break and kind of regroup and take a deep breath and kind of look each other in the eyes and say, we can do this. And, you know, we might have gone in down 15 points at halftime. So I think the timing of when it happened did not work against UofL either. There was about a 3-minute break, and they got to that halftime.
Absolutely. Well, you know, we talked about your favorite. What's maybe your least favorite moment that I know for me it was probably my favorite and my least favorite that I got on video was the Cincinnati game, only because it just seemed to keep lasting forever and it was wet and cold. But, you know, what was your favorite or least favorite moment that you got on tape?
That's a tough question. I actually love Cincinnati.
I know you did. You had a smile all over your face.
I was having a great time, and what the team was accomplishing out there that night, and it was just raw football.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have a least favorite. I'm pretty much a diehard UofL fan, so I don't know that I have it because I just can tell you my most painful moment was you know, watching that Syracuse game, but I wasn't at the game and I wasn't filming it. But, you know, we dealt with that injury with Sonoris Perry, and the team obviously wasn't regrouping very well from that injury, and Syracuse was playing very well. But I don't really have a least favorite for filming.
Yeah, I mean, you know, just like us, you know, we're just fans who happen to have a passion for writing and covering the Cardinals, and we get to sit around and talk about it. You know, you're just a fan who gets to videotape. You know, I know what it's like for me. What's it like for you to be on the field as a? I mean, I remember during the Sugar Bowl, I think we gave like 100 hugs.
Yeah.
Me and Crums did, but it was just you know, because we are fans. You know, we're not reporters. You know, what's that like for you to be on the field and see does it make you more of a fan?
It's amazing. I mean, I know all of you all can speak from experience, and we've shared a lot of great moments this year together. But for me, it's like. It's kind of like behind the curtain a little bit. So you've always watched as a fan, and you've seen it on TV, and these guys have been your heroes growing up. But getting to hit the field and see the inner workings of the show, you know, the organizing when the band comes in and out, how the media is handled. You know, it's the operational side of the thing that I've been interested in learning about. Because it's quite a production. You know, you just assume it's a game, roll the ball out, and you're done.
Right.
But there are so many people working really hard to make a game go off from start to finish with the advertisers and the and the different promotions that they have to do, and all the shows that they're trying to time, and special events with maybe high school kids coming in performing. So I've really enjoyed that part of it as well.
Yeah, and not only that, like, you've gotten to do stuff, like, you've been asked by Charlie Strong to do some videos. Maybe did he send Ron Dugans over to you to talk to you about what was that moment like?
Well, actually, so for the videos I've made for UofL, the first one was right before the Sugar Bowl, when Coach Strong saw the underdog motivational movie with the Rocky theme. So it's it was called Underdogs Unite. He saw that, and I used to coach. Okay, so I was a player. I played in college. I was a D1 tennis player. I was also a D1 college coach. So I kind of know the motivational side of things. Mark Blakenbaker wanted to make a hype-up video for the underdog, for the underdog theme, and he was throwing different aspects of, with Muhammad Ali and Rocky Balboa, and he was just giving me some things that he wanted to see in it, and then ultimately threw it on my lap and, let me kind of tie together my vision for it. So Coach Strong saw that, and I think he liked it enough that he wanted me to make a video for the team that they watched the night before the Sugar Bowl. Now, I can tell you right now, the underdog video was much better than the season review. There was a lot of good plays in the season review, but the underdog had a very specific purpose. So that was the first video I made for Strong, and then I went down. I went down to practice and talked to Coach after practice. So Ron Dugans did not come to me. But Rocco did ask me to put together two videos, and one was for Devontae Parker and one was for Teddy Bridgewater. And I did both of those in the last month, and they're on the website as well. And it was just basically to kind of whet the appetite for football and to give some props to some very special players. And to be honest, there's probably 8 more players on this team. We have that much talent that you could make an individual video for, but I don't have unlimited access to footage to use. So sometimes I have to delete a few things because of storage space, and so you kind of miss the opportunity to make some other videos.
All right. Hey, Mike, this is Steve here. Got a couple things. First off, if anybody's watched and you've seen our opening video, that was actually made by Mike, CrumsRevenge. Amazing
you
opening
mean Crumbs.
video.
We don't know who Mike is. It's just Crumbs.
Sorry about that.
The Mass Crusader.
Code name. But the opening video is awesome. Second, I'll always favor. I'm a football guy, okay, and now I'm leading into the next thing I want to ask here. But I'm always a football guy, and to me, I'll always favor that Rutgers video. I mean, because that had to be the most emotional, up and down, and then when that video come out, I remember I was sitting there in tears in my church, in tears in the back in the sound room, watching this video, going, this is amazing. I mean, this is awesome.
Well, to be honest, I make these videos first and foremost for me. All the videos that I do, I try to make them as a time capsule. So when I'm 80 years old and I'm old and gray, I don't just see the game, but the commentators retell the story a little bit. How did I feel during that game? I try to make that part of the video. So for the Rutgers game, being that Cragthorpe weight had been lifted off our shoulders and it was for real, we were going back to the BCS. I mean, that was about as big of a moment as we had this year, and we've had so many big moments because upsetting Florida in the Sugar Bowl has to be better than that. But it was a really special moment when we got to go to the BCS Bowl because our program had come back again. That almost seemed like a harder mountain to climb than it did to upset Florida. Yeah. Although that's crazy talk because it was a big upset.
Well, yeah.
But the Rutgers game especially, when I finished watching that game, all I could feel and see and just hear people talking and on Twitter was just love. So what I did was I went through Twitter because everyone was just elated, and just every tweet was pictures, the team, fans, and I tried to capture that at the end of the Rutgers video, and that's why I kind of did that collage ending. It was trying to match that. So in 80 years, when I'm 80 years old and I'm watching that, I'm hoping that little slideshow at the end will also kind of recreate some of the emotion that was happening that night.
Yeah. Well, and real quick before you had a couple moments this year, and we've talked about this on Twitter back and forth, but I know we're reserved on the sidelines, and we're supposed to stay that way. I know you and Jeremy had a close call there. Where
I've had a couple
because
close
we
calls.
are
It
fans.
was the almost high five is what we refer to it
Okay,
as.
well, we had more than an almost high five at the Sugar Bowl when Terrell Floyd takes that back. So my question for you, Crumbs, is: are you ready for? Okay, let me set the scene. We're in the Rose Bowl. We're in the Pasadena, California, Alabama for a national championship. Teddy comes out and throws that first touchdown, and we go up 7-0. Are you ready? Because I'm going to come after you full speed. I'm a football guy, and there's nothing that would mean more to me than to see this team win a BCS national championship.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and Howard Schnellenberger. I think it would mean maybe most to him. But, yes, I am ready, and I think I know the secret for football. It's such a gigantic field. I think that as long as you're on UofL sidelines, that you could get away with it. Now, if you're on the Florida sidelines gaining reaction and you start celebrating there, I think they're going to kick you off the field. Yeah. So, yes, I think we need to just stay on the Louisville sideline a lot longer in that game.
All right. Well, Crumbs, thank you so much for coming on. I know you and Mr. Mark Blankenbaker, who's a fan of each of us, has a new site.
We do.
It's no longer, cardsandcats.com.
Right. Well, cardsandcats.com is there today, but in a couple of weeks we're going to switch over to thecrunchzone.com. So the Crunch Zone, everyone knows about the Crunch Zone in the football section. Mm-hmm. So the whole idea was it's a site for the fans, just like Kentucky Sports Code, just like Card Sports Zone. I mean, it's great to work with you guys and see you guys. So this is just our iteration, and we're finally going to drop the Kentucky Wildcats from the website, since Mark was not able to find anyone consistent to help him with UK, and he has to write all these UK things, and he hates UK. So finally, he's kicked it to the curb. It's going to be thecrunchzone.com, and it'll be open mid-July.
Great move there. Great move.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Trust me, I've given him so much hell for the amount of UK articles he's had to write this year.
I've doubled his, I think, but.
Also, check out the Vimeo page.
Yeah.
Is that how you pronounce that?
Yeah, on Vimeo I have all my videos. There's 50 of them stored there. Yeah. I've done over the last 3 years, but we're going to try to make them a little bit more convenient in the crunchzone.com, but we were not going to put all 50. So yeah, awesome. It's usually if you kind of hit that title bar as you're watching the video, it brings you back to Vimeo and you can see all that. But I'm really looking forward to next year, guys. Football and basketball and baseball, everything looks like it's teeing up for just as exciting year as we had this year, if that's even possible. So I've got my practice of how to restrain a few hugs, but if we're at the national title game, get ready for them.
All right. Thank you so much. Of course, follow CrumsRevenge at CrumsRevenge on Twitter. And Mike, we look forward to this year and everything you're going to put out.
All right, thanks, guys, and enjoy your show.
All right,
thank you very much. Who's this Mike guy?
When you know him like we do.
Yeah, that's true.
He's a great guy.
But, I mean, he's just a fan who is a genius on videos, and I mean, he's on 790 all the time, and of course he's on with Drew Diener, on ESPN. Yeah. And of course he decided to give us a little time here on the Cardinal Pulse. But of course follow him, like I said, at CrumsRevenge on Twitter, and watch his videos a couple hundred times, like I have.
Oh man.
The video that I've watched of his was the West Virginia game.
Oh
yeah. The Mr. President kissing babies.
Yeah.
That's always my favorite.
Yeah, the videos he comes out with. I'll tell you what, man. Even the one that basketball one that I favor the most is the last two that he's come out with the run about where we went on the run. Luke Hancock hits the 4 threes, and the Duke game, the second half of the Duke game, where he basically untouched it. Yeah. I mean, and it was just, it was so pure.
Yeah. It was. Well, he got Paul Rogers to do some, and of course, I have to give my friend Mark Blankenbaker some credit. Yeah. He is given, and I'm sure Crumbs won't mind. Mark has given him some great ideas and has made probably Crumbs more famous than he was at the beginning of the year. So shout out to Mark Blankenbaker as well. Well, we're going to go on a break, and when we come back, we have Mr. Roman Oben, and we have tons to talk to him about, and so stay with us. We're the Cardinal Pulse.
It's about to get is looking out for that Gatorade. Anybody in front of us, we guarantee to win. Look you dead in your eye, I'm coming for your chin. You don't want no part of us, you ain't got enough heart.
Welcome back to the Cardinal Pulse. I am John Hancock here with the guys from CardinalSportsZone.com, Jeremy Wallman and Steve Remage. And Roman he's in a car, so we're having a little trouble getting a hold of him. But he has our number, so he's gonna call in. So we're just gonna keep talking.
That's what we do best.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we do. That's why we have a show. We're just a couple of fans who like to get together and talk about Cardinal sports. Of course, you can check out our websites. Great stuff on there. And, of course, we are streaming live on livesportscaster.com. Maybe you want to be like us, or you want to, better than us. That'd be awesome, too. You can start.
Highly unlikely.
You can start a podcast, or you can, start doing live streaming for free on livesportscaster.com. You can get started today, and, your chance to get famous.
Yeah.
And, a lot of great stuff on there as well, stuff from 1450 AM, other shows that, we have, and, of course, tons more coming forward, high school sports and things like that that'll be streamed live. So definitely check out livesportscaster.com. You're already on it. You might as well browse it. Let's talk about a little basketball recruiting while we're waiting for Roman to call in. Since our last show, we picked up Jaquan Lyle, which, I mean, hopefully most people knew that he was definitely a Louisvillian, and that last visit with his mom was kind of the dream recruiting class.
Yes.
I mean, that's some length. I mean, you're talking about Trey Lyles I think he has a 7 foot something wingspan.
Yeah.
Jaquan has a really long wingspan for a 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah.
Point guard.
Yeah.
The Shaquan Aaron.
Shaquan Aaron. I was thinking. Sorry, I blanked on his name. But Shaquan Aaron, really long, really athletic.
He's anywhere from 6'6" to 6'8". I mean,
depending on where you look.
Yeah,
So.
ESPN has him at
Yeah.
7 foot tall.
Yeah, I mean, so he's either way, he is long. I mean, we've seen him play. He is long, and I mean, Quentin is a over 6 foot guard.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and Quentin maybe Evan Daniels. I was listening to Evan Daniels on the radio that day. He said Quentin is one of the elite shooters in the country.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I mean, I'm not saying we don't know this already. I mean, anybody that's went and watched him play. I mean, Quentin is a stud. I mean, he sometimes it almost makes you wonder. I don't know why, but if Quentin was playing at prep school, I think Quentin may be the top point guard in the country.
Yeah.
I mean, he or close. Tyus Jones is a heck of a point guard.
To be fair, I mean, it's almost like a kid not from Florida in football being the number one. When it comes to basketball, high school basketball, there hasn't been it is now, but there hasn't been that much talent come out for a while, and so
not out of state.
I mean, and it's weird because like you said, you have Evan Daniels who lives in Lexington, who's probably watched Quentin play,
countless
enough,
numbers of times,
and he's still, not up there. But it also was his height. I mean, when he first was committed to Louisville, he was 5'10".
Yeah.
And he was young, and he committed young.
Yeah.
And when you commit young,
Yeah.
you
fall.
People forget about you
You
because
fall.
you don't. What does it matter?
Well, that's why a guy like what was it the year Patrick Patterson and Jai Lucas, and I mean and Patrick Patterson probably deservingly so. He vaulted up the rankings,
Right.
but like him and Jai Lucas they're the only two uncommitted guys, and all of a sudden they're top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, while Patterson was probably, he earned that.
Right.
But Jai Lucas, not a top 10 player.
Absolutely. But I mean, to say the least, I think. I
think Patino. Here's the thing: Patino's got 3 guards.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably done with guards.
It seems to think that because the moment that Jaquan committed, Brandon Francis was
gone. It looks like Isaiah Whitehead, the guard from Brooklyn. Actually, Richard Pitino may be pulling him in. That would be a huge get. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to kind of bandwagon Minnesota. I'm not going to be able to help it. I mean, I'm not trying to get off topic here, but I'm going to cheer for Minnesota.
Well, I think Richard's always going to be a part of Cardinal Nation, and he showed that when he visited Kevin Ware and the things that he did after that. And he celebrated on the floor when we won the championship.
Absolutely.
He was just as much a part of that building process,
Absolutely.
the recruiting. Absolutely. So I have, I'm sure that there's some Kentucky fans that rooted for Tubby when he left and up to Minnesota. And
I doubt it.
well, different situation. But
yeah, absolutely. I hope Richard does well. But it's what I think Pitino now. I think if he's going to take any other wing guy, it's going to be Kelly Oubre from Texas.
Absolutely.
And I really hope he does. That kid has got great. We could lose. See, I hear people say, "Well, you don't have enough room." We could lose 6 or 7 guys off this team.
Right.
I mean,
it matters what kind of season.
Yeah, depending on the.
You're gonna lose Montrez.
Yeah, he's gone.
He's gone.
Okay, Luke, Russ, and Vantrese, you have to lose them. Montrez might as well be a senior.
You may lose Wayne and Shane.
Very easily could you lose both of those. I mean, so
we would have lost Shane already if he was 2 inches taller. But that's his knock at the next level.
Absolutely.
He's not tall enough.
Absolutely, but I think Shane's mindset going into this year is pro. I mean, even last year when he said he was coming back, he said
he thought
spend
about.
one more year.
Rick actually gave him the advice of trying it out.
Yeah,
because of and Rick's the same with Gorgie. You have to look at the age.
Yeah.
And you saw in the NBA draft last week, and age was a big deal.
Every pick. I mean,
If you were 4 years old, you would have been the first pick of the draft.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's true.
Anthony Bennett got picked first. Mm-hmm. He's injured. He's injured just like Nerlens Noel, but he's a couple months younger.
Yeah.
It for some reason matters.
Every pick Jay Billis would say, and I love Jay Billis. I'm a huge Jay Billis fan. But I think we got a guest calling in, so we want to go ahead and go to that.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, Roman. Is this Roman?
Yes, it's Roman.
Hey, what's going on, man? This is Jeremy. I'm here with Steve and John. Thanks for taking the time out to give us a call tonight.
No problem. I know you said 7:55, so I'm trying to. I'm dropping out of PA right now, so I got some car time.
Hey, that's no problem at all. We appreciate it. Being one of the all-time, you got your name in the circle of champions. What was? We'll ask you the question we've been asking everybody else. What was your favorite moment from this year, which has been dubbed the year of the Cardinal?
You mean all sports, basketball, football?
Yeah.
I mean, well, obviously, being a former football alum like yourself, just going back to a year ago, and talking to scouts, NFL scouts, saying that Charlie Strong's really a year ahead with his program. All his best players are like freshmen and sophomores, and then to see the jump they made this year, and then beating Florida, and it reminded me of watching the Fiesta Bowl when I was in high school. Decide if I was going to go to UofL or Tennessee or Virginia. So, it's definitely means the program's in the right direction. So that was my favorite part. On the basketball end, I'm happy they finally won, but as a selfish UofL fan, just I'm still mad that 04 season. You lose to I think lost to Illinois in the Final Four, who lost to Carolina. Sebastian Taillefer, how do you commit and not go right to the NBA. I mean, that could have been our national championship back then when Pitino first got there. So I'm always going to think about the games that got away as far as basketball, but I'm glad they finally put it together on a year where they didn't have a lot of just star players on the team.
That's true. That's also the year, I don't know if you remember this or not, but Dante Smith from here in Oldham County, he ended up going to getting drafted by the Hawks that year. We would have had him as well. So, I mean, that would have been I'm with you. I believe we win the title that year as well.
Yeah. So, and again, Pitino, I mean, top 5, top 10 as far as salary, in the country. I mean, you expected 2 national championships, within a 10-year span and a bunch of Final Fours. But, basketball's not the way it used to be. You got to compete with. I mean, the old days, Pitino could go in any East Coast place, D.C., Virginia, Philly, New York, and then recruit most of those kids. Now you got to recruit against the southern schools of Florida in basketball. So it's not the way it used to be with especially the Big East getting disbanded as well.
That's true. Roman, can you give us your thoughts on how far Charlie, in the limited time he's had, how far he's taken the program in these last 3 years, and how he's literally done the impossible and repaired what Coach Cragthorpe did in his short time here, how he turned that around, and, it's like night and day.
Well, I think it's really a matter of raising expectations, and I think that's what Charlie Strong's goal was. When you have a surprise season, and I mean, there's enough excitement about Louisville football program now. Now you walk in the door, a preseason top 10, a Heisman candidate at quarterback. Now 9-2 is a bad season, so that there's a flip side of that too. So I just hope that the Louisville fans, can let these kids get better and mature, and it's good to be excited, but it's still a process. So now you're trying to chase a top 10, top 5 finish every year. So that's the good part about it, but that's the part that everybody has to manage, managing the good adversity that the team is going to have to deal with this year.
What are your thoughts on Teddy Bridgewater, and how do you foresee this season in the is it the American Athletic Conference? How do you feel like what do you see the result of this season being?
Well, I think when you look at the schedule, it's a college football schedule. There's not you look at the games that should win, they should win those, but then every week is different, and some teams get surprised. I mean, you look at those teams last year, the Oregons. Those kind of teams, they go undefeated, and there's hype, and you 8-0, and then you lose quick pivotal week 9, week 10. So they just have to stay focused every single week, and then they go from there. I mean, you talk about former seasons, that 06 season, you beat West Virginia, then 4 nights later you got to play Rutgers, and you lose that game. I mean, that's an undefeated, that's a shot at the national championship in 06. So the program was there. The program was on the cusp with that mid-major that made breakthrough. I think the Cragthorpe years were some bad years, but again, it's not about making up for those. It's just about where they are right now and where they can go in the future. And I think Louisville is definitely at a place where, talent-wise, schedule, leadership as far as coaching, good pivotal play at the quarterback position, receiver position, good solid front seven on defense. I mean, again, you're at a place now where a 2-game loss is a bad year. So that's the expectation that's been raised this season.
Yes, sir. You this past weekend you were inducted into the Kentucky Athletic Hall of Fame. How was that for you?
Oh, it was a great experience. I mean, we've all been there. Just an 18-year-old kid walking down the hallways and you see all these pro players, and then you never really put yourself in that category with some of the guys that have been inducted. I mean, you see Romeo Cornell from a coaching standpoint. Jack Harbaugh got a special award. The father of Jim and John Harbaugh, who coached at Western for 14 years. I mean, the list goes on and on. So to be mentioned with those guys that have come to the state of Kentucky, either by way of birth, high school, college, whatever, it's good that, what the state of Kentucky means from a football standpoint. And then they're the only state that honors their players in its own state Pro Football Hall of Fame. So that's especially special. And it was good to see Howard Schnellenberger again as well.
Absolutely. Roman, this is John Hancock. How you doing?
Hey, John.
A little off topic. You've always been, a great representative of Louisville football and the university, and you've always walked with great character and integrity. you being, you were a big part of the NFL for a long time. You had a long, great career. NFL has had a kind of a hit, during this offseason with situations at different teams. What do you tell young players, what to take the right path? What kind do you get opportunities to tell players, this is the better way to take it, and these are the consequences of your actions?
I think, what, guys, it's and this is anything that hasn't been said. At a certain point in your life, the difference between right and wrong. It becomes a point of just personal responsibility, and whether it's you're living in and you grow up in an unfortunate circumstance in an urban environment, or you grow up without a dad, or you grow up. I mean, none of that excuses you to go into a life of crime or whatever. Especially when you have the opportunities that you have as an NFL football player. I don't care if you're on practice squad or if you're Peyton Manning or Tom Brady. That it's a wonderful opportunity that can take it away from you if you do anything that embarrasses yourself. I mean, Jeremy, you remember Coach Cooper used to say, "Don't ever do anything that embarrasses yourself, your teammates, or your family, or your organization, whether it's college or pro." And if every day you step outside of your house or your facilities, you got to make that decision. So, there is a gun problem, I think, in the NFL. There's a violence issue with guys that are making bigger mistakes, a lot of boneheaded mistakes. But you're talking about murders and crimes, and I mean, we're not talking about DUIs here. We're not talking about making getting behind it. This is a willful act of violence, of tragedy. So, this is you're talking rape, Carruthers. I mean, this is that type of an issue. Worse. So it's unfortunate, but I tell these young kids that it's not about the opportunities, what you do with it. It's not about what happens to you negatively in life. It's how you respond. So that's the message I always send.
All right, Roman, this is Steve, man. You spent many years in the NFL, and even though you won a Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I think most people, 48 starts as a Giant, and now radio broadcasting for the Giants, I think that's kind of the organization, at least when I think of Roman Oben in the NFL, I think of the Giants. Got a question for you. Roman, I'm a Cowboys guy, okay?
Uh-oh.
What do the Cowboys have to do to finally win something, man? If you can hear the frustration coming out, it's been a long time, okay? And I've watched the Giants just dominate the NFC East here and watched my Cowboys play good in December just to let me down in the playoffs. So you got any advice for them?
Well, the Cowboys have had 2 years in a row to win the division in Week 17. They didn't do it, so I think they have the right leadership. I think they have the right players. I mean, the margin of victory in the NFL, as you guys know, is very small. So you got to win when you're supposed to win. I mean, I don't.
Absolutely.
They got a $100 million quarterback. They've got good receivers, good running back. I think there's a lot of overall discipline on the team. Whether or not, if it's Jerry Jones that really controls the team and not Jason Garrett, there's not a solid core of just true veteran leaders on the team. So I think that's the issue with the Cowboys. It's more of an organizational issue, but, I mean, can they win it all? Yeah. I mean, they had it in 07. They lost the playoffs to the Giants. They had the chance to win the division Week 17 2 years in a row and didn't do it. So they're not on the bottom of the NFL by any means. I think they're definitely a top 10 team on the verge. Where Baltimore was, where a lot of these teams were, in the last 2 or 3 years. They just got to win that big game when it counts. And I think that's – and I'm not a fan of anybody, so whether I cover the Giants or not, I'm always objective. But
absolutely,
you win when you can play your best football after Christmas. I mean, that's been proven throughout history. So if and whether you're 7-5 going the last few weeks or 7-7 of the Giants were when they won it, or I mean, Baltimore had it sewn up pretty much, and they had to win at the end. I mean, that you got to win, and that's character, that's integrity, that's leadership in the locker room. I mean, and that's something Jerry Jones can't coach or he can't buy or can't pay for.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Roman, you've gave me a little bit of optimism going into this season, and I appreciate that. But one more thing before.
I mean, we're not talking about the Rams. We're not talking about the
Rams. Yeah, so I have hope. It feels like it sometimes. But before we go, Roman, you have a foundation, and if you just want to give us a little bit of information, give the people some information about what you're doing with that and what they can do to possibly go on and see that.
You can just go to RomanOben.com. contact us if you want to get involved in anything we do. I mean, summer right now is over, so we'll be gearing toward maybe a Thanksgiving drive, toy drive, and just contact us either info@romanoben.com, and you can get involved. And we've done a lot of charitable things, schools, build computers. We did work in Africa. We adopt families around the holidays. So, a lot of people kind of ask me to be a part of stuff, but it's still done under the cusp of the foundation. So anybody who wants to get involved can definitely get on the website.
Hey, Roman, do you still do the place? I know you had something to do last year with the Play 60 with the children. Do you still do that?
Yeah, open flag football. We run camps and clinics, fundamentals, non-contact camps throughout the summer, spring, some fall after-school programs. So go to Open Flag Football. Also got to like the Facebook page, Facebook.com/Open Flag Football, one word. So I have a license agreement with USA Football to kind of teach the fundamentals of the game without the contact, so that kids don't, when it's time to play tackle, they're not, nervous or scared, or they understand the game.
Nice. Roman, we really appreciate you taking – we know you're busy out on the road. We really appreciate you taking the time out to talk to us tonight. Have a safe trip, my friend.
No problem. My pleasure, guys.
Thank you, Roman.
Thanks.
Well, fantastic guy. I remember when he was on the team, just a man. I mean, he would pancake people like crazy. I think we talked about it last show, but like people thought Orlando Pace could pancake. Like Roman Oben could pancake somebody.
Yeah.
And so it was fantastic to talk to him.
Absolutely.
Guys, it's 8:25. Another show in the books. Fantastic. Of course, you're watching on livesportscaster.com. You can check us out on myself on KentuckySports.co, and then Jeremy Wallman and Steve Rummage on CardinalSportsZone.com. I got it.
There you go.
Whew.
Looking forward to it.
Too many letters for them.
Well,
I can spell it.
actually, we'll probably be back in July again. I know today's July 1st, but I think if all goes as planned, we'll be having another.
We have some,
July show.
we definitely we have some great guests. Hopefully, for next time, and just we'll update you on the next show. So
Over under, how many commits does Charlie Strong get for the next show? Set at 5.
I'll say lose 1 and gain 4.
Okay.
I'm going to say push.
Okay. I'll say he fills up 14 and 15 class. All right.
This has been the Cardinal Sports Zone.
Cardinal Pulse.
Cardinal Pulse.